Back in the days of the Great Crusade, many within humanity felt that the Orc race had been permanently dealt with. They would be proven to be so wrong, as approximately a millennium later, that same race would bring the Imperium to its knees in perhaps the only truly threatening invasion of the Emperor's home system since the Horus Heresy. This apocalyptic conflict saw Primarch's return, but the Orcs would arguably be led by a leader on an equal footing to the sons of the Lord of Mankind. In fact, several of these Primarch tier greenskins would be discovered, but the one found first, the most infamous of them all, was known simply as the Beast. This is Tactica Imperialis, and welcome to 40k Stories. The rise of the Beast went almost unnoticed by everyone, but it happened right under the nose of the Imperium, who thought they had crushed the Orcs entirely. It is believed that the spores that would grow into the Beast gestated on none other than the planet of Ullanor, a world where Horus Lupercal had probably slain the most powerful warlord of the Great Crusade era. The Imperium had lost the world during the Horus Heresy as the War Master returned for a dark reflection of the Emperor's triumph, and presumably they never bothered to take it back given what happened next. Somehow, an Orc of truly titanic proportions gestated and grew up on Ullanor, becoming the largest of its kind I think has ever been seen in the galaxy. Quite how this creature became so large is unknown, as Orcs usually grow by fighting, but this scale has never been seen before or since. But it did. Following the Orc adage of might makes right and biggest is best, this Orc became the leader of its kind on Ullanor. Perhaps uniquely, however, this Orc known only as the Beast did not keep Ullanor in a state many Orc worlds are found in. The Beast managed to enforce a major industrialization and urbanization upon its homeworld. I'm not going to call it law and order, this is the Greenskins after all, but it was organized, settled the world over when the Beast made its home in a city it named Gorkogrod. This was the city in which the triumph of Ullanor had been held by the Emperor in the Great Crusade after that aforementioned victory for Horus. Presumably the Beast had an eye for irony or something, or it just decided that that was the shiniest place on the planet. Actually, theory. What if the exposure of Orc spores on Ullanor to the Emperor Primarch genetic material actually allowed a few lucky ones to mature into supersized greenskins? Not sure, but it's not impossible I suppose, even if there are holes in the logic that are very obvious. Either way, the Beast didn't care about where it came from, it cared about what it was doing, and it had plans. Big plans. Either the Beast was part mech boy, or had an insanely skilled set of mechs working beneath it, as it envisioned the concept known as gravitic planetoids. These things are mind-bogglingly crazy, but as far as I can tell they were built from ripping the surface of a planet into space to form a hollowed-out spaceship on the scale of moons or even planets. Armed with gravity-based weapons that could rip huge chunks out of a fleet in one go, these planetoids were most commonly referred to as attack moons by the Orcs and their adversaries, and they were ridiculous. Apparently they even had faces that could speak according to the will of the Beast, and what? Sorry, I just don't get how this technology works. I get that Orc science is often nonsense, and it's powered by belief, but still, come now. Anyway, Ullanor was to become the grandest of these planetoids, an attack planet, if you will, with the attack moons acting as forerunners connected back via what are described as Waaagh gates. So 9,000 years before Nasdreg made it cool, it seems as though the Orcs had some form of teleportation technology, even if it was subsequently lost, a way for near-endless greenskins to arrive by travelling through what is described as subspace. Not the warp, not the webway, some other dimensional thingamajig that would be really useful if we could access it today due to all this warp drama. The first time anyone outside of the Orcs is known to have witnessed the power of the attack moons was in M32. We do not know who the first victim of the Beast's Waaagh was, but the Imperium of Man encountered a heretofore unknown Xenos species known simply as the Chromes on the planet of Ardamantua in Segmentum Solar. Though treating their arrival as a run-of-the-mill invasion at first, the Astra Militarum and Imperial Fist forces quickly surmised that the Xenos were not invading to conquer, but instead were fleeing from the Beast and its Waaagh. Said Waaagh was hot on the tail of the Chromes as the first recorded attack moon arrived not long after and destroyed Adamantua using its tractor beams as a way to recharge. The Imperials were all but annihilated, and the conflict known as the War of the Beast had officially begun. We won't be recapping all of the events of the War of the Beast here, as this log is about the Warlord itself as opposed to the conflict, but the two are intrinsically connected, so there's more than a little correlation here. Mind you, it's not believed that the Beast actually ever left Ullanor at one point, not that anyone really would have noticed given the insanity that is talking attack moons. The influence of the Beast, however, was absolutely felt all over the galaxy. This was the largest Waaagh that the galaxy has ever seen to our knowledge. Certainly there hasn't been a bigger one since. Sorry, Gaskell. With the power of the attack moons and some seriously large orcs across all tiers of its society, almost nothing could stop the greenskins from smashing planets and armies all over the place. A moon was lost at a place called Port Sanctus, though it cost something like half of Segmented Solar's fleets to do, but it transpired that there were more, and the Beast had one perfectly lined up for a new assault. In M32, the Sol system wasn't anywhere near as fortified as it is today, due to, I assume, Imperial laxity and or arrogance following the Horus Heresy, and the Beast exploited this by sending an attack moon to orbit over nothing short of Terra itself. With Mars out of the game and systems the galaxy over assailed by the Orks, one could argue that this moon was the guillotine hanging over the Imperium's head, especially when the ill-conceived proletariat crusade crashed and burned in horrific fashion. But rather than just destroy the planet with the tractor beams, the Beast instead sent an ambassador to demand the surrender of the cradle of humanity instead. The ambassador didn't stick around to hear the response from the stunned Senatorum Imperialis, storming out in disgust at their cowardice instead. But this delay did give the Imperials, with some hidden help from the Eldari, time to launch one final assault with the Astartes of the temporarily unified 7th Legion. The moon was disabled but not destroyed at the time, and the Beast's armies never set foot on Terra again, but the Waaagh was continuing apace the galaxy over. One such place was the hive-come-death world of Caldera, which was being converted into a new attack moon, but the Orc assault was being severely hindered by a certain Primarch's presence, namely that of Vulcan of the Salamanders. Vulcan joined the Imperium, who had learned the Beast was on Ullanor, and the humans came for the Orc space of operations en masse. Rather than assail Gorkogrod directly, which was one suicide mission too far even for this war, the plan was to lure the Orc leadership out by targeting their already waning food supplies. And it worked, as the Beast itself took to the field aboard a titanic and psychically equipped temple gargant, though the Astartes who managed to board it alongside Vulcan initially thought the Beast was a statue. That's how large this Orc was. It killed 2 chapter masters in mere moments and was beyond perhaps even Vulcan to defeat, so rather than throw all their lives away for no reason, the Astartes fell back and left the Warlord and Primarch to duke it out alone. Whether one side or the other would have eventually won is unknown, as Vulcan ended the fight somewhat prematurely by tackling the Beast into one of the Waaagh energy-fueled generators powering the temple gargant. He then seemingly slew the Warlord by channeling this power somewhat, destroying the war machine and taking both of them out in turn. Vulcan has never been seen since, though his perpetual nature means he may well have regenerated given enough time, but the Beast? Well, that's where things get even more weird. As the Imperium returned home in celebration from Ullanor, it became apparent that the Orc threat thought crushed was far from actually finished. Over the next several weeks, deafening Orc chanting echoed across all comm systems, with Lord Commander Courland quickly arriving at the conclusion that, somehow, the Beast was still alive. This was confirmed a short while later after the founding of the Death Watch, when the attack moon over Terra that had been sat there derelict suddenly wasn't all that derelict anymore. The moon somehow reactivated, connecting back to Ullanor to allow more Orc reinforcements through, and an Orc that seemed to be the Beast declared that it would bring ruin to all of humanity. The Death Watch and badly reverse-engineered Orc technology were able to destroy about half the moon and get rid of the rest to parts unknown, but the beast Waaagh was now firmly back on the front foot. With Vulcan now seemingly dead, the new plan for the Imperials to take the beast down revolved around the harnessing of perhaps the most deadly weapon against the Orks: themselves. Now stay with me here, because this gets weird. Using the Silent Sisterhood and a captured Ork Psyker, the Imperials plan to create a reverse Waaagh effect to psychically devastate the Orks and then kill the beast as well. The force that was sent under Courland to Ullanor to do this was smaller than the one under Vulcan, still battered from the first battle there and from the struggles on the Terran attack moon that followed. Caught in a devastating ambush and fighting a losing battle, it seems like only the sheer will of Courland kept the assassination force going toward the heart of Gorkogrod for their second showdown with the beast. And unlike Vulcan, they would not be denied in their quest to slay the Warlord. Despite the ridiculous proportions and weapons of the beast and its elite bodyguard, enough time was bought to activate this reverse Waaagh ritual. Even then though, the beast didn't go down easily, but he was stunned just long enough for Courland and co to finally, properly kill it. Under normal circumstances, with any normal Waaagh, this would be it. Beast dead, Waaagh broken, heavy losses, Imperium saved, happy days. But no. Then things became, as already mentioned, even more weird. An Ork even larger than the one believed to be the beast emerged, squashing Courland under its boots. Literally. This Ork was in fact the one that had fought Vulcan, somehow still alive despite the explosion of the Temple Gargant, and it wasn't actually alone. Before being squished, Courland realised that there are in fact 6 Orks on the scale of the beast, and someone apparently coined the phrase Prime Orks to describe them, as if the Greenskins were parodying the Legiones Astartes and the Primarchs in order to crush the Imperium. Why 6 instead of 18 in that case, you may be wondering? Well, we aren't sure, but it is thought that each of the great clans we've met in the past was the equivalent to a Greenskin legion, and so only 6 Prime Orks would be needed to command them, though that doesn't account for ferals, it doesn't account for freebooters, it doesn't account for those who get chucked out, but hey, 6 works. The second assault on Ullanor was crushed by the Prime Orks and their warriors, and the stunned Imperium was reeling once again, now without its Lord Commander. It took the almost coup-like actions of Fist Exemplar Chapter Master Maximus Thane to restore any sort of order and initiative, essentially recycling and then innovating on Courland's reverse Waaagh Silent Sisterhood plan. The main innovation came in the orbital battle, as the Imperials used asteroids both as bombardment tools and as transports down to the surface of Ullanor, annihilating much of Gorkogrod in the process of getting planetside, and probably accidentally giving inspiration to the Orks for using the rocks as weapons of war down the millennia, so thanks. Thane's battle group lost or used up all but one of their captured Ork Psykers in their attempts to reach the throne room of the Prime Orks, but they made it, and they only actually had to deal with one, Courland's murderer, the largest of all, the Beast of Beasts as it was known. Though this creature had managed to duel a Primarch to a standstill in the past and had summarily squished one Command Commander before 2, it couldn't seem to finish off Thane and his forces despite everything it had going for it. And with no other Primarchs to bail it out, the Beast of Beasts was unable to cut through the new Lord Commander's lot to prevent the Silent Sisterhood from completing the reverse Waaagh ritual on their final captured Psyker. Though the Primarch slain by Courland was able to somewhat shrug off this ritual, for some reason this one was more susceptible. Maybe there were less Orks around, and so less actual Waaagh energy? In any event, the Beast of Beasts exploded along with all those Orks inside the Gargant Palace it called home, and this time, finally, the War of the Beast was over. A lot of systems still needed to be cleansed of greenskins, and the Imperium's turmoil was far from over, the beheading and much more was still to come, but never again would the Beast, or anything really like it, rise again. Again, sorry Gaskell. So ends the tale of the Beast, or, well, more accurately, the Prime Orks, one of which was known as the Beast. This collection of Orks were the largest and smartest arguably ever seen in all of Orkdom, able to muster and coordinate a galaxy-spanning Waaagh and even threaten some of the most fortified and critical locations in the entire Imperium. Even a Primarch couldn't stop it, and its weapons of war are among the most devastating and bonkers the Milky Way has ever witnessed. But for now, with all that in the past, we must move on. Next time, probably another one of a shorter log, looking at some of the most terrifying fusions of technology and unreality, as well as some of the famous ones. Thank you for watching Tactica Imperialis, and I'll see you all again. Goodbye.